All right, and good evening to you as we come to you for the North Florida Blitz. Yes, we're back as we roll along here, rolling into week number 9. You got a question, comment, want to just chit-chat with us? You can do that in the comment box wherever you're watching us from on Facebook at Florida HS Football, YouTube at Florida HS Football. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube. We are getting closer to 1,000 subscribers. Tell your friends, share it with your friends, share it with your family, share it with your neighbors, share it with whoever you want to who loves high school football, and share that YouTube link, youtube.com/@Florida HS Football. And also, if you're following us on Twitter or the brand called X now, that's at FLAHS Football. And I'm already getting the woohoos here, and yes, I'll do the hello, Reno, good evening, and yes, let's go North Florida. Yes, we are on, we are here, we are live, we are loud, we are proud. Say that very fast. Yes, and good evening to David Kozlowski. Panama City is tuning in. Yes. How about the Mosley Dolphins? And we indeed will be talking about those Mosley Dolphins coming up here in a few minutes here because actually, you know what? I actually had it on the rundown and somehow it got dropped off my rundown, but we will talk about it first thing up about Mosley and Niceville. So I apologize. It is not actually on my rundown, but I will put it in my rundown because it was on my rundown and somehow it got deleted off my rundown. I don't know what happened there, but it was in my rundown because it was one of the games I was making sure that I was talking about here this week. And we will definitely talk about that game coming up here in a few minutes here as well. And definitely appreciate everybody again tuning in here as we're back here. I know that, again, Hurricane Milton kind of made some decisions for us that we were not interested in doing or having done or got it or so forth. But we are here. 2 hurricanes. Hopefully 2 is enough. Done. So hopefully no more. But yes, indeed. And we're going to talk about it here. Oh, wait, hitting the wrong button here. There we go. Yes, indeed. It is time for the Blitz lines. And first, as we all know, we talked about in the last show, we had a live stream yesterday about this, but might as well just go ahead and talk about it on all the shows because it's important and make sure, in case anybody was sleeping under a rock yesterday, we give you the information that you might have missed. And that comes down to the information from the Florida High School Athletic Association. How about this? Extending the regular season by a week. Well, I mean, it's technically not a full week, but it's about 6 days worth of time here. So through November 7th, teams can make up games in basically what would be week 12. So through November 7th, teams can make up any games, and it'll be regular season for all teams. And playoff brackets will be set to be released on Saturday, November 9th. Friday, November 8th, the FHA is going to go through everything, go through all the playoff, make sure everything's correct through max preps. Saturday, November 9th, that's when they will release the playoff brackets, and we will definitely get our first look of what the playoffs will look like. Just a reminder, Drive the State show coming up here after this show at 9 o'clock. So we will go over all the playoff brackets. So stay tuned. We're not done with stuff tonight here and everything along the way here. So actually, let me see what's going on here. That's what I need to do. Shut that off. That way y'all can see me a little bit better. I just had that on from the live stream from yesterday, and apparently I forgot to turn that part off. My bad. But rolling along here, we're going to talk about it here first before I get into the Santa Fe news, since it somehow got dropped off my timeline. But we're going to talk about Niceville and Mosley, and honestly, I'm pretty impressive with what has happened here. I mean, Mosley 7-0. I mean, Mosley is just rolling. Hey, by the way, if that makes it correct, 2 years in a row that Mosley has beaten Niceville, by the way. And 2 years in a row, Mosley has beaten Niceville in terms of process for a district championship too. So there you go. Hats off to Tommy Joe Witten and his Dolphins right there. And I'm going to pull up here real quick since since it got lost in my show notes here. Let me go ahead and pull up the thing because I'm going to pull up real quick. I know I usually don't like to do this here live on air, pulling up this stuff, but I want to pull up the box score 37-28 between Mosley and Niceville. And honestly, looking at this here, it really was a game of the ages there at Tommy Oliver. And man, give it mad props to Mosley for what they have done here. And Mosley, Sammy Faridas, 100 yards passing, no touchdowns thrown, but it comes down to, how about this? I mean, this dude, just Lacavian Jackson, 5 touchdowns, 12 carries, 213 yards rushing. He was the workhorse. He was the reason why Mosley won this game. And you got to give it Lacavian Jackson for doing what he did Friday night against Niceville. I mean, that is just an impressive effort. And 5 sacks on defense. And yeah, there you go. When you get 5 sacks on defense like that, you can win a game. You can absolutely win a game. And David Klosowski says, Tommy Joe's a great coach. He's a Niceville alum, and Mosley program is run just like it is at Niceville. So, yeah, it's when you're able to duplicate what a successful program is and do it where at a program that's a couple counties over. Yeah, definitely good right there. Woo-ha, yes, Reno's giving out woo-ha to Mosley and LoJack, Mississippi State commit. He was an absolute beast Friday night. Yes, Lacavian Jackson, LoJack, as they call him out there in the Panama City area, definitely giving a lot right there, doing a lot of work and doing a lot of damage to the Niceville Eagles Friday night. So, one more round of applause there for Mosley. All right. As we roll along here in our blitz lines here, how about this? Santa Fe coach Jason Wells resigned last week. And, well, what do you know? What do you know? Santa Fe finally breaks that 21-game losing streak. And Tim Schenkel, who just took over for Jason Wells, 30-7 over Keystone Heights. And that is huge right there for the Raiders. And, again, big win. Hadn't won a ball game since 2022. So Santa Fe now on the board. And yes, as Reno might be saying, some changes in the air. And yes, we're going to talk about Taylor County here in a moment. It was also, I don't know what happened here when I was putting everything together. It was on the list to be talked about, and then somehow got hit. Some of my notes here. Actually, I've got it here in part of my notes, but some of the other information kind of got dropped off here. But yes, we are going to talk about Taylor County here in a moment here because along the way, because yes, Santa Fe needs love. Yeah, well, they got love. They definitely get some love here tonight and on the show here. But how about this? As we roll along here, Buchholz pounds Turquoise Creek, and Justin Williams sets a record here. How about this? 7 touchdowns. Yes, that's 7 touchdowns. Scored 7 touchdowns. He had 5 rushing, 2 receiving, and led Buchholz to a 63-22 win over Turquoise Creek. And Buchholz, unfortunately, that lost to Nice a couple weeks ago in week 6, and probably not going to get them into the district championship, most likely, unless something happens with Nice. But honestly, but Nice in the driver's seat, Buchholz definitely in the mix for the playoffs, and we'll talk more about that coming up here on the Drive the State show at 9:00 here on 4hsfootball.com and on all the social media platforms. But rolling along here, as we roll along here, Pensacola Catholic, they're edging closer to a district title. And how about that? Pensacola Catholic getting a 52-16 victory over Walton. And CJ Nettles scored twice on the ground. And Ryan Huff had a passing touchdown. And so Pensacola Catholic, 1 game away from a district championship. And that'll come in week 10 there for the Crusaders. How about St. Augustine? They thumped Clay, captured the District 4A3 title, 56-6 in a game played last night. There was 3 pick sixes in the game, and the Yellow Jackets just swarmed all over the Blue Devils. So Blue Devils probably took a few stings there last night with that. And Lachlan Hewitt, how about this? Passing for 4 touchdowns in the game, and there you go. When offense and defense is running like a well-oiled machine, there you go. That's what the result you get, 56-6, the Yellow Jackets over Clay. How about Pace nearing the district title in 6A District 1, beating Tate 42-7, and Pace is just totally dominating right now, and got to give it hats off to the Patriots. Patriots, remember last year, went 8-2, missed the playoffs because, well, there were some wacky things that happened, and that caused Pace to be on the outside looking in because some teams that weren't supposed to win district titles did, and that pushed everything around. So, but this year, Pace is not even near the edge of that situation again, and they're looking like the district title is almost in reach in a playoff berth as well. And Reno did say, and I was going back to here, what a game they was referring to. Still hear me? I don't know. There's the camera. I don't know why the camera was going out for a moment. Don't know. Technology. Gotta love it. Got to love it here. All right. As we roll along here, as we get ready for Andre Ellis coming up here in a few minutes here, and just to make sure that we get him on. And let me go ahead and make sure that. Go ahead and do that. There we go. All right. Rolling along here. How about this? Oakleaf turning heads, thumping First Coast. Oakleaf. Yes, Oakleaf. The Oakleaf Knights doing some damage as well. 44-0 over First Coast. And they're on their way to potentially a district title, and they could win that district title when they play Mandarin next week for the district championship. So they'll play Mandarin for that district title here coming up here in week number 10. And as we roll along here, further along here, we've got Riverside beating Inglewood. Yes, Riverside beating Inglewood 43-6. And then we got Terry Parker. How about Terry Parker here? Let's talk about Terry Parker making a splash. Now they're in the potential of a 3-way tie in their district after beating Westside 44-12. Tony Kennedy, again, 5 touchdowns. I mean, he is just having a heck of a season there. And Terry Parker now coming out and in the mix, and actually looking at the stuff for the playoff for the Drive the State show coming up here at 9:00. You will be seeing Terry Parker's name sitting there in that Class 3A Region 1 bracket as a team to potentially be in the mix. But yes, a 3-way tie that the district champion may not be cited until the final rankings come out on Saturday, November 9th. So, yes. And how about this one? Zerva Academy quarterback did what? How many touchdowns did he throw for what? How much? Yeah. How about this? Yeah. But get your popcorn out. Put the seatbelts on. 568 yards and 9 touchdowns. Yes, I know. They overwhelmed Duval Charter 84-6. But, 568 yards and 9 touchdowns in the game, that's just unheard of. So, unheard of in the terms of the stat line department. And before we get to Newberry here real quick, Newberry Bradford, yes, we did have a comment from Mark Cannon about Taylor County and Chiefland. Taylor County beating Chiefland 13-10 must have been a great game. That was another top game in the region for people and to check out. But Taylor County unfortunately suffered their first loss because they had to turn around and play another game 48 hours later on last night against Florida High in a makeup. And yes, there was disappointment both between Florida High and Taylor County about the fact that they had known about this, they would have moved the game sooner. But by the time they found out about the FHA extending the season out by another week and the logistics already been in place for the makeup game, they wish they had announced that, moving the bye week around and doing that. And sooner. And unfortunately, Taylor County suffered their first loss, and it was not a pretty loss either for the Taylor County Bulldogs. So Taylor County no longer among the ranks of the unbeatens here along the way. All right. Now, this game I was at Friday night, along with Reno, who was there too. A lot of people, packed house at Newberry at Panther Stadium there. How about this? Newberry. Yes, Newberry pulls off the stunning upset. 21-7 over Bradford, and that gives Newberry the District 2A5 title. Now I expected a close ball game, but what I didn't expect is how Newberry came out, put 21 on the board before Bradford even got 7 in the fourth quarter, and by the time Bradford scored, it was too late. Yes, it was too late for the Tornadoes. Newberry had their number for all game, and Logan McLeod started that off of a pick 6, and Jaquez Carter 4 sacks. Newberry's defense proved to be the big difference in the upset, and of course, forcing 3 turnovers, which is what Newberry did, and Bradford had 0. That is exactly how it rolls, and that's why Newberry has a district title. Bradford is now looking at an at-large playoff berth going into the postseason this year. But Bradford, not even out of the playoff picture. It's just where could they finish in seeding wise right now? It looks like a number 1 seed still potentially at grabs for Bradford, but we'll see if Newberry can eclipse that and grab that number 1 seed coming up here. And Reno says Newberry, big game with a dominant win. And Zach Lesnar saying with joining in from Panama City and about the huge statement win from Mosley over Niceville. Yes, we will definitely talk more about that as well. And yeah, David, I'm going to be talking to Craig Damon more, but there's definitely some things. There's some people that are not happy with the FHA. I get it. It's FHA. I get it. And I know that's they were upset. They made it publicly known. It's in a story in the Tallahassee Democrat. But anyways, we're going to take our first water break here. Then we're going to have Andre Ellis from Duval Sports joining us here in a moment, and then we'll talk about everything that's going on in North Florida, especially Northeast Florida in the Jacksonville area. We're going to take a 2-minute water break. We'll be right back right here on the North Florida Blitz here on FloridaHSFootball.com. Stay tuned. All right, welcome back here on the North Florida Blitz, and I've finally been able to get him on. I am glad to have the one and the only Andre Ellis from Duval Sports. Andre, thank you so much for joining us here, and I believe this year is your 10th anniversary. I believe is you're 10 years now, I think, and congratulations to you, man.
Man, can't you see the grays? Man, I can't believe it's 10.
I got grades starting to on me too, so I can relate.
Man, thank you though, man, thank you. It's been fun, especially with you and covering high school football and all the sports here in Northeast Florida.
No, absolutely. And let's kind of talk about some of what's been going on here with what's been going on in Northeast Florida, especially, around Duval County. And, looking at it, the team that really has been, the talk of Duval County of this year is Rains. Rains has just been, going out there and playing lights out football. And, given the fact that, they're in class, they're class 3A, which kind of in an interesting way is kind of wide open, in terms of the classification. You got a couple teams downstate, down in 3A, but, do you think that this is a Rains team that could potentially be playing in a state championship game come December?
Without question. I mean, this Rains team is probably the deepest since their last state run. About a decade ago. But they're just stacked. I mean, Timothy Cole Jr. Came over from Reball. He's a dual threat quarterback for them. He's making plays through the air and on the ground. He's got some receivers. Probably his top one right now is Adron Walker, who leads them. But I mean, they're just a dynamic offense. I mean, Zion Butler, Caleb Lampkin. So they can beat you on the ground. They can beat you through the air. And their defense is just lights out. I mean, they're a spanking team right now, man. So, and this is why I think they really do have a shot is, of course, covering the whole state, what Northeast Florida struggles with is when they play some of the teams from the Panhandle or they play some of the teams from down south, those teams get bigger. Well, Rains this is the biggest team I've seen in recent history up here in Northeast Florida. They are huge. So they can definitely do it.
No, absolutely. Of course, the two teams that probably would be standing in their way could be Miami Central and Miami Northwestern, teams that are down there in 3A Region 4. But Andre, that's not the only team that's been making noise there in Northeast Florida. I mean, there's a lot of teams. I mean, how about Nice? Nice, where they had two back-to-back overtime victories, and for the Panthers and what Colin Drafts is doing, it's definitely fun to be watching what the Nice Panthers could be potentially doing in the postseason.
Man, I was smiling because I knew where you were going. I mean, they are the talk of the town, really the talk of the state. I mean, I saw in one poll they're number one. So, but yeah, you got to give it up to Coach Drafts, man. I mean, every quarterback that plays for him just plays lights out. Nate Harry is the next one up, and he has over 1,000 yards passing, 12 passing touchdowns. He's just really leading his team. Of course, you know about that big win in OT against St. Augustine, which they came back from like 21 down. So they won every way imaginable, whether they've been down big, whether they get up quick. They won with defense. Nice really is for real. We've had them number one for the last couple of weeks in our power rankings just because of that. The schedule that they've played, I mean, they've really had a murderous row of teams beating Ponte Vedra, Creekside, St. Augustine, and then of course right in your backyard, those Bobcats of Buchholz. That was a big win. So Nice is for real and definitely a team to watch.
No, absolutely. And when we're looking at, some of the other teams in the area, I mean, I know you cover Bradford as well, and not, them getting beat by Newberry, that was definitely, turned a few heads for people. And, looking at, you got teams like Ponte Vedra still doing their stuff. Bowles is doing their thing. Mandarin, let's talk about Mandarin here for a moment, because you lose your quarterback, you go down to Bradford, you lose that game, you lose 2 games in a row, you lose to Bradford and ING Academy, but they're still not out of the playoff race. They're still not out of the playoff, for a potential deep run in the playoffs, but they're having to do it behind a freshman quarterback. Talk about that, how the Mandarins had to, transition and adjust with that, because I know that it's not easy when you have to go from a senior quarterback to a freshman quarterback and throw them in the fire.
Yeah, Mandarin, I tell, everybody this, Mandarin is still a really good team. I still have them in my top 5. Of course, you cannot replace Tramel Jones Jr., Florida State, commit, who's probably going to be out for the season. Some people are saying that they hope that he can come back maybe at the end of the playoffs, if they make a deep playoff run. But Jamie French is back, so the 5-star wide receiver that is the Texas commit, he is back. So that's a big, big win for Mandarin. But Josh, they're just a deep team, man. And their quarterback, who is a freshman, Knox Ennis, he is a kid I covered in middle school just last year. He's thrown in the fire, and he's done a great job. They've got another freshman, Bryson Wright. He's just amazing. I mean, one-handed catches. So they have him opposite of Jamie. Of course, they have that other 5-star on defense, Hilton Drake Stubbs, who is a commit to the U. So, even though Mandarin suffered some injuries, of course, their leading quarterback, they're still going to make a deep run. I mean, they're going to win their district. They're going to go deep in the playoffs. And one thing I like about them is they run the ball, man. They have a stable of running backs, and Coach Bullock over there likes to run the ball. So it's paramount for the playoffs.
No, absolutely. But let's talk about some other teams that I haven't mentioned yet. Oakleaf is doing really well. They're going to battle Mandarin for that district title there. Honestly, let's talk about, especially like St. Johns County. I mean, there's a potential chance that every single public school in St. Johns County can make the playoffs this year. I mean, talk about that right there. I mean, that's unheard of, that all, potentially that for every high school in a county, every public school could make the playoffs, and St. Johns County could do that this year.
Yeah, every county around Northeast Florida is good except for Duval, man. And we're Duval sports, so we're we're happy for everybody else, but we got to tell the truth. Duval is kind of down. I mean, there's Rains, and then there's Riverside, and kind of everybody else for Duval. But
even Trinity Christian's not the talk. And then that's
Trinity's down this year. Yeah. Trinity's down this year. Actually, Trinity lost to Riverside. Trinity's young. Trinity is really, really young. So, and then of course you always have bowls, but I'm talking more public school. But Oakleaf, man, I love this team. I actually picked them against Bowls, but they were in a shootout. Against them. They had a tough loss against Bowls. They had a tough loss down your way against Hawthorne. I think you might have been at that game. So they are battle tested. That's going to be a great game between them and Mandarin. Oakleaf is going to have to prove that when there's a team like a Hawthorne, when there's a team like Bowles, when they're facing that team and they're going to have to face Mandarin, that they can get over the hump. That's going to be their biggest test. They haven't shown it yet this year. But Fleming Island for Clay County is just playing some really good football. Sebastian Broughton is throwing crazy stats out there, man. The Akron commit, the quarterback there. And then St. Johns County, like you said, they're probably the deepest. Bartram surprisingly is down, man. I mean, what do you think about Bartram? Being
I mean,
down?
I was kind of surprised to see Bartram down a little bit, but when I was checking the latest playoff rankings, which we'll talk about how on the Drive the State show coming up at 9:00, I mean, actually, I did to see Bartram's back in the mix here, so that's good for them, and to see him down, but then again, they do play a tough schedule, so what Corey Johns is doing, he's just following along with what Daryl Sutherland said, the president there, and Corey Johns is keeping that going, so I definitely think. For that, it's just hey, teams go through these cycles, and the Bartram Trail probably is in that lower end of that cycle right this second. Of course, they got St. Augustine this week, so that's going to be a tough one.
That's going to be a tough one. I was going to say that's going to be a tough one. Coach Johns, he is awesome. They have actually the leading rusher in the area, Arthur Lewis, and Jaden Weatherly is so they've got the weapons. They just got to put it together. But like you said, that's a tough area down there with St. Augustine, Nice, Creekside. That's a murderer's row of teams.
No, absolutely, and that's all I got to get. I just got to throw this in a little bit. I mean, I'm sorry, your alma mater is not doing so well this year. My alma mater is doing. I know my alma mater is doing well, which is
why you doing it to me, man? You just had to do it to me, right? You just had to do it to me. Great.
But Andre, honest question, for Sandalwood, honestly, what I mean, is it just I want to ask you because is it just is it like transfers that have left the school? Is that what's kind of caused this for Sandalwood to be on this side of when they usually have been a winning program?
That's an excellent question, Josh, and I don't think anyone has the exact answer, but you look at a team like Sandalwood, you look at a team like Atlantic Coast. I mean, these are the biggest teams in Jacksonville. They should always be some of the best and top teams, and they're struggling. And a part of that, a piece of that, not the whole pie, but a piece of that pie is. You have other schools that are popping up, and some of these athletes are going to the other schools. So I think that is a relevant, concern for teams like Sandalwood, teams like Atlantic Coast, maybe even teams like Terry Parker, Fletcher. Fletcher's a little different because they're on the beach, but a lot of those kids are going to other schools, which is why a school like Impact can face Sandalwood and beat them in the kickoff classic. So who would ever thought that? Like a basketball school that's known more for basketball can beat a used to be powerhouse in the state, Sandalwood. So we're down. Middleburg's up, man. So
I know, right?
I'm happy for you, man. I mean, what Coach Wolf's doing out there is just amazing, and they had a tough loss last week, but they're getting into the toughest part of their schedule right now.
No, absolutely, and I got a couple of comments. I'm going to throw some comments up here. Welcome to the show, Andre Reno saying that, and then of course Jenny Lynn says, "Good to see you again, Andre." That's my fiance, by the way. And I got a question.
Too.
Yes, and by the way, I got a question from Christopher Like. He said, "This is we all found out yesterday the FHA is extending the regular season by a week." So, Andre, question for you: how much will the extra week help the teams in the area, and who benefits it from the most?
That's a great question, and I think it's going to benefit teams already. I mean, you already saw Nice. I mean, as soon as you dropped the news, Josh, they were like, "Yeah, we've rescheduled." So. You've got teams that are taking advantage of that. I think it's going to benefit, a lot of teams because, coaches can identify what areas of need that their team is looking for. And, of course, a team we just got through talking about, Mandarin, who is looking to get some players who were injured back. So that's another team that definitely could benefit. So, I think that news is something that a lot of coaches were actually looking forward to.
No, absolutely. And Andre, tell everybody where they can follow you at and where they find all your great content at as well.
You can go to duvalsports.com. Duval, man. See, before the Jaguars started saying it, man, that's where it came from. So, but duvalsports.com. Josh, I'm a little jealous, man. You were in Newberry. I've never been to Newberry. You were supposed to bring me with you down there.
It's worth checking the game out there at Panther Stadium there at Newberry High. It's still, they got the small town charm there, and both the fans for Bradford and Newberry, they just all showed up, and it couldn't have gotten any better than that for Friday night there. But Newberry putting on the clinic there against Bradford, they just like, hey, we were prepared for y'all. They were even prepared for that Wildcat in the fourth quarter, and they shut it down.
That was a trap game, man. Bradford had a lot of home cooking, which was a kind of a weird schedule where they're playing most of their games in the beginning at home. I think they had 4 or maybe 5 games at home. And so to then start this road streak at Newberry, a team that had played Hawthorne to overtime, that was tough. But man, I like Bradford. Jeremiah McKenzie, Duke Lewis, man, they're going to bounce back, and man, I appreciate you definitely having me, and man, take me on the trip next time, okay?
All right. And I got a couple more comments here to throw up here. You said Jenny Lynn says you need to come and watch Newberry with us. Yes, definitely, indeed. And always wants a Panther, always a Panther. And you got a Duval shout out from Reno. So there you go.
That's right.
Duval.
Hey, the Jaguars need all the chance and help that they can get, man. So
I know. It's paining me as a lifelong Jaguars fan to see what's been happening, but
yeah. But we got approved for the new stadium today, so that's
there you go,
news.
Touchdown.
So
there you go.
Yep.
All right, well, Andre, I definitely appreciate it. Thank you so much, and we'll definitely be talking to you as the playoffs near here in just a few weeks' time. So. Yes, and we'll drop that site. Yeah, we will drop his site in the chat there. That is that's duvalsports.com. That's where you can go here. We're going to drop that right here in the chat for y'all, everybody, so everybody can see that. And Andre, again, thanks a lot for joining us here on the North Florida Blitz.
Josh, always a pleasure. And thank you for having me, man.
No, you're welcome. Take care, man. All right.
Go Broncos.
I appreciate it, Andre. All right, that was Andre Ellis from Duval Sports joining us here on the North Florida Blitz, and we're going to take a quick 2-minute water break here, and then we're going to be back, and we're going to do fan question, do all the pickings for the pick six, and then we're going to get ready for Drive the State show coming up at 9 o'clock here. So stay tuned right here on the North Florida Blitz. We'll be right back right after this. Welcome back here to the North Florida Blitz as we get to the second half of the show, or some of the fun parts of the show. All parts of the show are fun anyways. Who says this is not fun? We are having a lot of fun here. This is the North Florida Blitz. Follow us on social media at Florida HS Football. That is Facebook, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, YouTube, especially on YouTube. Subscribe to us. Subscribe. We're getting closer and closer to 1,000 subscribers. Hit that subscribe button at Florida HS Football. And follow us also on X/Twitter at FLA HS Football. Yes, indeed. We see if we got any more comments and questions in the box here. And yes, we will go here. Assuming they lose to Vanguard but win out versus Dunellen and Eastside, can 6-4 South Sumter make the playoffs? Ooh, I love this question because, and this is what I will talk about this on the Drive the State show, but I'll go ahead and talk about it here since this question is, here. I mean, South Sumter's usually in our Gulf Coast Blitz, but, they're kind of on the borderline. So we'll talk about it here because they usually play teams more towards the north here in this region, and their district is this region too. So the situation we've got going on with South Sumter is this. Basically, they are actually the first team out right now still. Okay, their power ranking is definitely better than what Crystal Rivers is. Why is the reason why they are being outside the playoffs? And honestly, it really, really, here to me, this is the issue, is that Crystal River would be the district champ in 3A7. That's the problem that would keep South Sumter on the outside. But yes, I feel like South Sumter could beat Dunellen. I feel like even South Sumter, depending on what happens with Titusville's going to be I would say the key thing, the key factor here. Keep an eye on Titusville, because if Titusville loses any more games, South Sumter, their power rating goes up, but Titusville's number goes down. South Sumter could actually jump into that 7th spot, go from 9 to 7. Technically, they're ranked number 8 in their region, but they're number 9 based upon the power rankings because of Crystal River. So, yes, there is a chance South Sumter will make the playoffs. I feel like South Sumter would make the playoffs probably potentially as a 7th seed. If they beat Eastside, they probably could be in the 5 to 6 range. Again, it's just a tough schedule. I mean, South Sumter's played a really tough schedule. That's what Ty Lawrence does. That's what Inman Sherman did before Ty Lawrence became the head coach. It's just playing these games and finishing out the season. That's what South Sumter has to do. If you lose to Vanguard, but Vanguard's beatable. I think Vanguard's beatable. So South Sumter can have everything in place and do what they need to do right. They could beat Vanguard. It's just depending on what it's like that night. But Dunellen and Eastside, yeah, sure. I feel like they can do it. So it's not out of it's not out of the question. But Reno says tall order, but yeah, they could. And I agree. It is a tall order here. But well, Jonathan, that question. How about this? Follow us to the Drive the State show coming up here at 9:00, and we will talk about that. But we got to get to we got to get to finish up our business here first, real quick here for the Drive the State show. I mean, for the North Florida Blitz, I should say. I will answer that question in the Drive the State show, Jonathan. So hold that question, bring that question with you to the Drive the State show coming up here at 9:00. But first and foremost, because we're running overtime now, but that was a great interview with Andre Ellis, so I will take that any day of the week. We got to get the pick 6. We're going to roll this pick 6 quickly. But if you have if you want to play along, put your picks in, comment in the box on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, wherever you're watching us from, you can put your comments in. Definitely will appreciate that. All right. So the order of the games this week, we're going to go through it real quick. From last week, which is actually week 7, I was 3-3 in that week 7. By the way, looking at this here, Reno's picks, he got the Cottondale one right. He got there was 1, 2. I've got it right here. 1, and then well, Reno went 3-3 in his games week 7 as well. So I did actually have that right here on my little handy duty notepad here. So Reno 3-3. You were 3-3 in week 7, like I was. There was no picks week 8 because obviously everything that happened. But we're going to roll along here. 29-16 on the season so far, 66% right. So pretty good. All right. Here we go. Our first game up on the pickings is Mariana at Holmes County. Mariana 8-0, looking to go 9-0 this week. Holmes County 5-2, and it really, Holmes County they have played a good solid schedule. Mariana rolling along really well, like a well-oiled machine, and the Bulldogs are just looking really, really good, and I see no reason why that can't stop for Mariana, and I think Mariana rolls to 9-0 here, and I gotta say the Mariana Bulldogs rolling along, and Jonathan Ferris chiming in, he's thinking Mariana is going to go for the win. Reno says woohoo, yeah, on the record. Reno, I kind of flipped the game. Lincoln and Niceville is going to actually be the last game here on the list here. So I apologize. I had to flip it around here real quick here as I was doing the show prep, and I forgot to mention to it. So give me the pick for Mariana, and there you go. All right, Mariana rolls along for the playoffs. They roll along to the playoffs with this win, and yes, they are on that roll there. Mariana for the win. So far we are both same on the same page for Mariana. All right, we're gonna roll along here. Madison County at Florida High is gonna be up our next game here on the list. Madison County 4-2 at Florida High 5-3. Florida High coming off a big win over Taylor County last night. Madison County. I don't think they played this past week. Their last game was at Pace, and that game they lost there. But Madison County, a little bit of rest there for the Cowboys. Florida High, another game here. Having to play a second game here this week. I think that's going to be the biggest question. But I think it's going to be a battle. But my pick is going to be Madison County here. I'm going to roll with the Cowboys here, and we've got some Zach Lesnar going back from the last pick. He was picking Mariana. Jonathan Ferris is taking Madison County, and Reno is taking Florida High. So we're going again. We are 1-1, 1-4, and 1 against each other. So there you go for this week. All right, Zach Lesnar's chiming in. He's going for Florida High as well here for the win. So kind of a mix. Madison County and Florida High kind of split down the middle there as we roll along. All right, how about a little Sunshine State Athletic Association action? How about this? And David Kloswiski, well, he hopes Florida High wins because Mosley might need the strength of schedule help. So, all right, we'll pop that in right there. But St. Joseph at Oak Hall. This is a Sunshine State Athletic Association late season game here. St. Joseph rolling at like all cylinders, 7-0. Oak Hall has had their ups and downs this year, but nonetheless in the mix for one of the top playoff brackets in the Sunshine State Athletic Association when the playoffs start coming up on the 1st of November for the SSAA. This one's tough. Oak Hall, it's not the easiest place to play. But St. Joseph has just been really rolling well, and whoever they play, they've been lights out. And I feel like, especially their quarterback play has been really, really good this year. And this is where I am taking St. Joseph over Oak Hall. And Jonathan Ferris chiming in. He's not sure to guess on this one. He's taking St. Joseph, and Reno says St. Joseph's going to keep the streak alive. So that's his pick right there. All right. Next game on this one coming up here. Zach Lesnar flipped a coin, St. Joseph. So I love it. All right. Rolling along here. We got Ed White 5-2 and Oakley 5-2. All right. Ed White. Ooh, honestly, to be honest with you, when I'm looking at the playoff rankings, who needs this game more? Ed White. But who's the better team? I think it's Oakleaf right now. Oakleaf is just firing all cylinders. If Oakleaf can, this will be a big Oakleaf victory here for them, and get them prepared for Mandarin for next week. So my pick is Oakleaf. The Oakleaf Knights are going to win this one over Ed White, and that especially there at the dungeon. So as we roll along here, Zach Lesnar saying Oakleaf, and let's see, will the home crowd make a difference? Ed White wins on the road, so he's going Ed White. And Ed White could win this one and upset some people, and surprise some people, turn some heads. So as we roll along here, we've got our number 5 game. All right, Yes, it's my alma mater, Middleburg at 6-1, Beachside 5-2. Both Middleburg and Beachside coming off losses to Ponte Vedra and Fleming Island, respectively. Both teams need this game. Both teams need a win here in this situation here. And I know Beachside has had some high-power offense, but Beachside, this is their first year in the state series, states being eligible for the state series. And honestly, Middleburg. I think Middleburg will learn from what they had did from the loss last night to Ponte Vedra. I think that was a good way of shaking things up. But sometimes a loss helps you. And honestly, looking at it, Middleburg. I know some people are going to say the schedule's been easy, but I'm sorry. Sorry, Beachside fans. I'm taking the alma mater because I feel like this is a chance for them to actually they're gonna rebound somewhere here, and I think this is the game they're gonna rebound as well. And by the way, I say this: Middleburg is definitely not. Even if they lose this game, they're not gonna be out of the playoff hunt. They're gonna be in the mix. So, but Jonathan Ferris said he was not sure. He'll take Oakleaf. And he's taking Middleburg for, yes, and Middleburg is on track to make the playoffs and wants this win more. Yes, Middleburg does want this win more, I believe, honestly. I know Beachside will want to win too, but, and Zach Lesnar, he's right. One of these teams could come to Mosley in the first round. There's a chance. There is a chance right now, but we'll talk about that more coming up here on the Drive the State show, what the playoff bracket looks like here in our final game. Lincoln at Niceville. I'm sorry, Jonathan Ferris. I know this is your alma mater, but this is at Eagle Stadium in Niceville, and we know how it works there. Zach Lesnar knows how it works. David Klosowski knows how it works. These fans out in the Panhandle know how it works when it comes to Eagle Stadium. It is a tough place to play, and it's not to say that any team can go in there and beat, not be able to beat Niceville. It's just it's usually 80% Niceville fans, 20% the visiting team. I mean, that's how. It's Niceville at home is almost unbeatable. Yeah. Zach gets it, and I'm going to tell you this is hard. It's because Lincoln's really good too, but I'm going here with that Niceville for the win. And as Reno says it, he's going with Niceville as well. And David Klosowski says Niceville is loud, LOUD with 3 exclamation points, and he says Jonathan. I hate to do this to myself, but I'm thinking Niceville, and that's exactly when you know what it's like. That's how it happens. So, all right, that is the pick 6 for week number 9 here as we wrap up the North Florida Blitz. I know we're a little over. We may start to say David Klosowski says it's an SEC style environment. Yes, indeed it is. It's one of those tough places to play, and the fans show up. It's packed every Friday night. There is a home game there at Eagle Stadium in Niceville, right there off Highway 20. So there you go. All right. As we wrap this up, we're going to get this quickly wrapped up. I'm going to go get some water, and then we're going to get ready for the Drive the State show. We may be on just a couple minutes after 9 o'clock, but we're going to try to be on as close to 9 o'clock as possible. So, and go from there. If you would have picked against your alma mater, you would have gotten many of your friends mad at you. I've picked against my alma mater before, so and there was a lot of times I would be picking against them. So yes, but Reno says woohoo, yes. So I'm going to get some water here in a moment here, and we're going to come back and we're going to do the Drive the State show. Look at the playoff brackets. Look at everything going on with the latest FHA Max Preps playoff rankings coming up here just at 9 o'clock or just a couple minutes after. We'll be back here. So stay tuned. The Drive the State show is coming up next here on the FloridaHSFootball.com social media networks. We'll see you next week on the North Florida Blitz, now starting at 8 o'clock and going to 8:45. We'll see you next week on the North Florida Blitz, and see you soon for the Drive the State show.